Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of our podcast. Today, we are not going to analyze too many matches, but a specific team, as you can see in our background, which is going through a crisis period. And since our beloved Neil is on vacation today, so we have got our first guest of our channel, Shubhranil, who is a die-hard Manchester United supporter.
Hello.
Welcome to our channel, MADRID and MORE. Today, we are going to analyze the recent debacles of Manchester United, mainly the 5-0 loss against Liverpool, the 2-2 draw against Atalanta in the Champions League, courtesy of a late Ronaldo equalizer, and the recent Manchester derby. So, without further ado, let's begin. So, talking about the performances which I just mentioned, what's your take on the players' performances, and what do you think? What is going wrong, and what can be the remedy? So, yeah, let's discuss about that first.
Well, the matches that you mentioned, that is the Liverpool loss, the Atalanta draw, and the Derby loss, of course. The first thing that I noticed in these matches was that the team was really not, attacking well enough. Manchester United has always been known, at least since the time that Alex Ferguson took over, as an attacking team. They take the game to the opponents. But for these last few games, last 2 or 3 games, we have seen them adopt an ultra defensive formation in a back three. We have decreased the number of attackers, and we've basically played park the bus football. I've just seen them play park the bus football. Uh, Against Atalanta, I would say that we could score 2 goals because, firstly, Atalanta were missing some of their key defenders.
Correct.
And secondly, because it was a big onus on the players to do something to save their own backs. The way Manchester United is playing at the moment, it is the players who have to save their own careers because the club, the management is absolutely giving no shits at the moment. So I don't know. The defense has been an absolute shambles. The midfield is kind of non-existent, and this is not something new. This has been in the works for a long, long time. And the attack, well, after the wonderful transfer window that we had last summer,
Exactly.
we I thought that our attack would be really a step further from last season.
Everyone thought
Last
so.
season, yes, everyone thought so. Last season, we were kind of thinking that we were missing a good striker who had a good instinct in the box, and then we brought in Cavani. Cavani, yes, he did a very good job in that role, but we were kind of missing someone else who could do that thing. And with Ronaldo's transfer in, we thought that Cavani finally had someone
Final
to
piece of the
complement.
final piece in the puzzle
Yes,
to go and
kind
win
of.
the champion, to go
Yes,
and win the
exactly.
Premier League and challenge Manchester City and Liverpool.
Exactly. But that kind of faltered because after the 4-1 win against Newcastle, in which Ronaldo scored 2 goals, we have had. If I'm not wrong, we're someone in the lower half of the table with regards to chances created or goals scored. I don't remember. They showed a stat in the Premier League matches last time in Derby. That is something that is really worrying. So every department of our team is failing for some reason or the other, which we will go into later. The only department that is clicking at the moment, I think, is our goalkeeping. With De Gea, I don't know. I mean, whatever happens in the rest of the season, De Gea is already my player of the season. for Manchester United, because if we recover from this state and we finish the season on a high, we have to remember that this was because of De Gea, who made
Correct.
some crucial saves in every match to deny the opponents some clear goals.
Correct.
So, apart from De Gea, I think all of our departments are kind of failing. I don't know. I mean, I can make guesses as to why, but I don't know what is happening at the club.
Yeah, okay. Now
They just
let's delve deep into these segments one by
yeah,
one.
sure.
Let's into the departments one by one. So Varane got transferred from
Yeah,
Madrid
sure.
to Manchester United. He's a wonderful defender, having won the World Cup,
Yeah,
having
yeah,
won so many Champions Leagues. Harry Maguire is also quite a good defender and a good leader. Like, I won't say he's a bad defender. Somehow he's not performing. He's underperforming. Same goes for Varane, though Varane is injured right now.
yeah,
In
yeah.
the Manchester derby, Lindelof and Bailly played. But yeah, like, why is the defense not working? And then I would come to, like, why Ole is repeatedly playing Fred and McTominay in the midfield when it's clear
Yeah,
that they can't
exactly.
press, or like it's not working
Exactly.
playing two defensive midfielders. So yeah,
Exactly.
first comes the defense. Why is there such basic mistakes in defensive transition when the opponent team is attacking?
First of all, Varane, as you said, is injured, and that is a huge, huge blow because last season, the main complaint that I had of our defense was that both of our central defenders were slow.
Hmm.
The recovery pace was just not there.
Hmm.
So we would lose a lot of through balls, and our defenders would not be able to recover at all.
Hmm.
Wan Bissaka sometimes used to drift into the central defender role and do the needful, but that was not always.
Hmm.
So when Varane was brought in the summer, I thought that this would improve, and
Yeah,
it did. It
Varane, like
actually did.
one stat, Varane had the highest ball progression rate in whole of Europe last season. So yeah,
Exactly, exactly.
because
So yeah,
Sergio Ramos was injured for most of the part last season.
yeah,
So
yeah.
all the onus of carrying the ball was on Varane. So he did a wonderful job, and yes, that is why primarily Manchester United bought him to pair with
Exactly,
Harry
exactly,
Maguire. On pen and paper,
exactly,
they make a wonderful pair, but yeah, somehow.
exactly.
Hmm.
So and yes, and it worked as well. The first few matches when Varane
Correct.
played, we were playing nicely in the defense at least.
Hmm. Hmm.
We weren't conceding as many goals as we are conceding for the last 2-3 matches
Hmm.
or 4-5 matches.
Hmm.
But after that, Varane was injured for the first time. He's now injured for the second time in our club.
Hmm.
After that, he was injured for the first time, and that brought Lindelof back into
Hmm.
the equation.
Hmm.
And one thing I really don't understand why is that why doesn't Ole play Eric Bailly? Because Eric Bailly is inconsistent. We have seen that he is inconsistent, but the sole reason of that is that he does not get enough game time. Yes, he has injury issues, but the fact that when he is fit, he is not picked makes him inconsistent. It is bound to happen to any player.
Hmm.
You look
Sure.
at Jadon Sancho, we're coming to him later on, but
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
look at how inconsistent Eric Bailly is. I mean, he had a great game against Atalanta, saved at least 2-3 goals, and then scored an own goal in the derby.
Hmm.
So that is what happens when you're not giving your good players, your impact players, too much of game time. And I think that is the problem with Oli, that he does not pick Eric Bailly enough to make him consistent enough as a partner to Harry Maguire. I would any day pick Eric Bailly with Harry Maguire instead of Lindelof with Maguire because
Okay.
those two just don't work.
Hmm.
And I think that is showing once again. That is showing. Even with the back three, Eric Bailly, with his inconsistency, is not being able to impact as much as it would have been with Varane. Because I remember in the first match when we played a back three against Tottenham, Varane was literally the anchor of the defense. Lindelof and Maguire were playing on both of his sides and they were progressing forwards. Varane was staying back and he was anchoring the defense. I remember that. I noticed that. So when Varane is not here, we all know how good a defender Varane is. Lindelof is just not good enough, or Maguire is also just not good enough to do that. And Eric Bailly is inconsistent. That is what it is.
Okay. Now coming to
And one more thing about the defense I would like to say is that there is a huge lack of communication.
Exactly. You just snatched
I
my
noticed
word of mouth.
Exactly. I noticed that in two matches. Firstly, in the Liverpool match,
Liverpool
and then
match.
in the
The first
derby.
goal. The first goal,
The
the
first
second goal, every goal was a lack of communication between
Exactly,
the
exactly.
defenders.
What is Maguire doing if he's not communicating with Shaw?
Exactly.
I clearly remember the second Manchester derby goal.
Okay.
I mean, what were they doing? Maguire left the ball above his head. Shaw left the ball in front of him, and Bernardo Silva kind of squeezed it in. De Gea had nothing to do. He was taken by surprise. He was expecting his defense to take care of it, and they just didn't. I don't know why that is happening, but it is happening.
Yeah. So, okay. So now coming to the central defensive midfield part, I personally think Fred and McTominay together is not clicking anyway. I would have preferred one central defensive midfielder with two attacking midfielders. But Ole is sticking to two central defensive midfielders, and none of them are doing their duties perfectly.
Exactly. I mean, look, Fred or McTominay, neither of them are actually defensive midfielders by their style of play. Fred is a central midfielder, and McTominay is a box-to-box one. And McTominay does his best job on the ground when he is playing as a box-to-box one. Because we've seen, if you remember last season's 9-0 win against Southampton, you remember McTominay was the one who scored the first goal, and look where he was. And he was at the edge of the Southampton box when he was taking the shot. He didn't score a worldie from the center line. That is where he's best. He is not at his best when he's marking people because first of all he's slow. Secondly, it's just not in. He is just not aware of his players, the players that he is about to mark. I mean, I remember one point of time in the derby. McTominay was just hovering around in the midfield around the referee. There was no City player that he was marking, and Fred was kind of marking two or three
halfway between two City players.
Exactly.
Like not a P of pressing was there. Like that it was. So
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, so
they're very slow as well. They're very slow to recover. I don't know. They just walk in the midfield.
Correct. Fred is very slow. McTominay, when he's on a attacking transition, then he shows his pace when he runs from box to box. But yeah, in pressing, he's terrible. He has no sense of idea where his markers are.
Exactly.
And for this reason, I would blame the manager also, because when he's seeing that this tactics is not working and this player is not suited for this particular role, still match after match after match, he is playing them.
Definitely.
So yeah, now coming to the attacking part of the midfield, probably the only part where Manchester United has flourished even in these difficult times, Bruno Fernandes. And yeah, at times we see Pogba there also, but yeah, Bruno is pretty much consistent.
It is. The problem with Bruno is that he is being played out of position, in my opinion. Bruno is best in a system that plays him as just behind the number
false nine,
just behind the striker.
False nine position or number 10 position, to be very precise.
Yeah, something like that. But and also one more thing, he is a good I mean he tracks back really nicely.
Okay.
He can transition, he can switch the play from, say, central midfield to attack very quickly. He has that vision, he has that ability. But here, he is, I don't know if he's being instructed or not, but he is more keen on pressing half-heartedly on the opponent's defenders, and not, tracking back. I don't know why is that. Probably because he thinks that there are two defensive midfielders behind him to do that job. So he is not tracking back. I've always seen when he has tracked back, he's produced some good passes or some good moments of play. And we all know what he's capable of. And I personally have found him underwhelming this season. And I think this is one reason why, because he is not playing his natural game. He likes to drift between the center midfield and the attacking, but he's not doing that. He is staying in the attacking positions and he's not tracking back, and that
But
is why
that is partially because the back half of the team is also
exactly,
troubling, because when your team
exactly,
doesn't have the ball, what will Bruno do? Like
exactly,
four defenders are there, two central defensive midfielders are there. If they can't win over the ball, then
exactly,
Bruno's abilities, Bruno's vision, Bruno's skill, everything will come into play when Manchester United is on the offense. But
exactly.
if that is so much less, but that is for so much less duration in the whole 90 minutes, then how can we see Bruno's skill? Now coming to
This
Pogba.
brings me to just one more point, that Fred
Okay,
and McTominay are so bad at being defensive midfielders. I mean, what do you see a defensive midfielder do normally? He runs into space so that the defenders can pass the ball into him,
correct, correct.
and he then turns around and passes the ball forward.
Correct. This is
Fred
in
and
the offensive phase,
McTominay,
and in the defensive phase, he
exactly,
presses and wins over the ball from the opposition and
exactly,
supply. Yes, correct.
exactly. So we've already discussed about the defensive phase.
Hmm.
Now here in the offensive phase, Fred and McTominay kind of mark their players when Manchester United are on the ball. I don't know why. I have seen them sticking with their markers when Maguire or Lindelof or Varane, whoever it is looking for a pass forward into the defense, but they are staying so close to their markers that they're not being able to pass the ball, and it is a lateral pass or a long ball. That is one more thing. You look at Pogba or you look at Van de Beek, someone like that would always run into space, receive the ball, and pass the ball forward.
Correct, correct. Otherwise, the team won't move into transition. There is no
Exactly.
point in keeping the ball at the feet of the defenders and not
Exactly.
finding the
Exactly.
midfielders. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So what is Pogba's situation? Like, as a Manchester United fan, would you like him to leave the coming transfer window? Would you like for free? Would you like to get some money from his sales this January, or would you prefer him giving a new contract? So what is Pogba's situation? And the next thing that will come is, what is Van de Beek's future? I know that is related to
Yeah.
OLE,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
these two guys.
Regarding Pogba, I personally have nothing against the player. He's a World Cup winner. He's a Nations League winner, but I think he has to go now
Okay.
from this club. He is, for some reason, just not at his best. He hasn't been at his best for the whole time that he's been here. He's been
Okay.
injured. He's been out. He's made some rash tackles here and there. Got a few red cards. He has not quite been at his best at this club in his second stint, and I think that has reached its breaking point. He has to go. I really don't care whether it is for free in the summer or for some money in the January window. I heard a news that Pogba is willing to stay only if sign a new contract, only if they make him the highest paid player in the Premier League.
Okay.
I don't want that kind of player I don't want that kind of a contract to be signed, because that is clearly indicating that he wants to stay if they pay him well.
Correct.
And that does not relate with his football at all. So I don't want him here, and he has already said that he will go if OLE stays. So I see him going, and I think he should go. That it is too much of him. And coming to Van de Beek, it's, as you said, it's related to OLE, but well, I had high hopes from Van de Beek when he came, and I have seen that when OLE substituted him on in the derby, Old Trafford went into cheers,
Correct. I have also
and
seen that clip.
that was in probably the 80th minute or
Correct,
79th
correct.
minute. He
Correct.
had
Some 15
hardly
minutes kind of thing was
he
remaining.
had hardly 10-15 minutes left to play, and that amount of cheers went up in the stadium. Just shows how Manchester United supporters rate him. And
Correct.
I'm no different. He's a wonderful ball player. He is the perfect box to box midfielder you would like to have in this kind of a situation in my club. Any sane supporter, you ask any sane supporter, and he chips in with important passes, with important run-ins. He can do so many things. He has bulked himself up in last summer. He has some strength, and I don't know. He just offers so many things as a midfielder, and he is just not being used. That is criminal. In my opinion, that is criminal. Using McTominay and Fred instead of Van de Beek is absolutely criminal, especially when the club is going through such a phase, especially when you need to stabilize the midfield. The club did not buy a proper defensive midfielder last season. I thought that is required. I thought they would buy someone. I
Okay.
still think that they should buy someone like
Okay.
Declan Rice or someone like that, Sumario or something like that.
Okay.
But when you have someone like Van de Beek and you are not using him, I don't remember what was his. It was his fourth or fifth appearance in the derby of the
Okay.
season.
Okay.
He should be think he. If I were in his place, I would be thinking, what am I doing here? The club paid 40 million pounds for him to just bench him like that. That is criminal. Remember that during the Atalanta match, in the second goal, he had a big part to play. He
Correct.
was drifting in on the left side of the box, and he was one of the people who played a few passes so that the ball went to Greenwood, and then that eventually led to the goal.
Correct.
So he got around 5 or 6 minutes in that game, and he impacted the game in that
Correct.
manner.
Correct.
So we all know what he can do. He's played only one full match this season, that is the Carabao Cup match against West Ham, which we lost. And he and Matic, who were in the midfield in that match, were the two best players, according to me.
Okay.
They
Okay.
absolutely ran the midfield.
Okay.
From interceptions to passes, everything. So it's just criminal. And if he decides to go in January or in the summer, it is absolutely fair of him. I can't blame him in any way. He needs game time. He has not been selected for his national team's World Cup qualifiers. He is not a player who will tolerate that. He
Correct.
needs
Correct.
game time,
That
and
is
if he
correct.
wants to go, he should go.
Correct. Correct. A
Yeah.
youngster with talent of that caliber, that skill, and showing whenever he's getting the chance, like hopefully Manchester United board will take a strict decision, and if the next manager comes, then probably that
Let's.
will turn his career around at Old Trafford, and
Yeah, yeah,
we
yeah.
will see some
I
wonderful
desperately want
things.
him to stay. I desperately want him to stay and play for this club and do good things for this team because he has it. He has it in him.
Correct, correct. And
So let's see what happens.
since this Old Trafford crowd cheered him so much in the Manchester Derby, it is crystal clear that they also think along
Exactly.
the same
Exactly.
lines. That as soon as
Exactly.
the managerial change happens, the new manager kicks in. Probably that will be a fresh start for
Yeah.
Van
Let's
der
hope.
Beek and his Manchester United career. So now going to the forward line. Yeah, let's talk about the new signing, Jadon Sancho. Like Jadon Sancho, and then we will come to Mason Greenwood. But yeah, let's
Yeah.
start with Sancho.
Okay. So Sancho has been terribly underwhelming this season, but I think that was something that was expected because
Okay.
a transition from Bundesliga to Premier League is no small feat, and
Hmm.
he's a young player,
Hmm.
so he would have required some time. But the only way that he could have become accustomed to the Premier League was if he would have had game time. And once again, it's the question of game time coming on. It's with Bay, it's with Van de Beek, now with Sancho as well. Why isn't he being given game time?
because
I have
currently Ole is switching to a so much defensive formation that he is getting the room for only two attackers in there, where Ronaldo is a guaranteed and only one place is left. So
even before that, we have played around 15 matches in this season, 15,
okay,
20 matches in this season. We have played a back three for only the last 4 matches, no, 3 matches. So before that, we had three attackers up
okay,
front, two wingers, and a forward.
okay,
Why wasn't Sancho being played there? What I mean, Oli was playing Greenwood there. Yes, I understand Greenwood is a very good player. He's a very good youngster coming up. He has an exceptional talent regarding to scoring goals. And I would have, I would have supported Greenwood if he would have continued the run of form he was in for the first 2 or 3 matches of the season. He was
okay.
scoring goals, he was assisting, but suddenly, it brings us to the Greenwood point. Suddenly, his game has gone down so much that he is just not making an impact anymore.
I was
He is playing
seeing
a
I
one.
I was
Yeah,
seeing clips that he has become very selfish. Like, even though he can
exactly.
understand from that range he can't shoot, he can't make an impact. He's going for that. He's trying tricks and gimmicks instead of passing to the player who is standing
Exactly.
inside the box, who has a clear chance to
Exactly.
score a goal. Like, these things are not expected from a youngster. Like,
Exactly.
yeah,
I mean, look, I've seen Greenwood not pass to Ronaldo. I have not. I've seen Greenwood not cross when someone called Cristiano Ronaldo is waiting inside the
the
box.
box.
Okay, so I mean, what can I say? He is looking to score goals, and he has not yet scored. I think he scored 50 odd goals for Manchester United yet,
Okay.
and he is so showing selfishness against someone who has scored more than 700 goals in his career. There is absolutely no comparison. I mean, you can bet always that given a chance, Ronaldo would put away a chance better than Greenwood. Always, even now, even at 36,
Hmm.
even at 30, 36.
Every day.
So I don't understand what is going on. And this is once again the coach's fault because
Exactly.
he is not developing the youngster. The one thing that I thought Oli was good at
Man
is
management.
that man management. Exactly. But even at that scope, he's failing in this season. I mean, it is clear as daylight that Greenwood needs some counseling. That boy, you need to pass the ball. You are not you are not a Lionel Messi that you will cut inside and score worldies every time. You need to pass the ball. You need to make runs. You need to play one twos. That is how a striker scores. That is how, if he is looking to develop as a striker, that is how a striker scores most of his goals. Passes, quick passes, one twos, shots. But he is looking to score worldies all the time. I don't know why. And that needs to be addressed as soon as possible.
Correct.
Uh, and even after seeing that his game is not advancing or progressing, he is not being benched. He's being
Correct.
played match after match, and Jadon Sancho is just sitting on the bench.
Hmm.
Both have the same positions at the
Hmm.
moment, right wingers. And to be honest, I would like to see a proper right winger instead of a right wing forward being played in a
Okay.
4-2-3-1 formation at Manchester United, because, well, we are not playing that formation at the moment, but I'm just saying that you need someone to provide some crosses into the box, because on the right side, Wan-Bissaka doesn't cross,
Okay.
and Greenwood used to in the last season, but that game has just stopped inside in this season. So you need someone to provide those crosses from the right side, to provide some good passes from the right side. On the left side, you at least know that Luke Shaw
Luke
is
Shaw.
someone who can put a cross in, even if the forward doesn't. But on the right side, there's no one. So Sancho needed to play there, and you would choose Sancho over Greenwood any day.
Any day.
Any day. The ability that Sancho has, you would choose him over Greenwood any day. even in the Champions League, he started Greenwood. I don't know why. Sancho has so much experience of playing in the Champions League against teams he has played before, and I don't know why he hasn't played. So that is once again the lack of game time is affecting Sancho's form, and the excess game time offered to Greenwood instead of improving his game is
Correct.
just deteriorating things further for the club.
So with all this, we actually come to the main focal point of our discussion, which is the manager. So from my point of view, I haven't watched
Yeah.
so many Manchester United matches. From my point of view, and whatever articles I have read through and whatever commentary or podcast that I've listened to, I have always known that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not a master tactician, but
Yeah.
he's a very good man manager. The
Yeah.
dressing room loves him. He brings a
Exactly.
separate vibe, and the players fight for him. When very pretty much similar to Zidane at Real Madrid. When
Yeah. Yeah.
Zidane is on the brink of being sacked, then the players show some best performance and save the manager. This what used to happen at Manchester United the last season. But this
Yeah.
season,
Exactly.
Ole has lost the dressing room also.
Exactly.
So, and yeah, some of the reasons for that we already discussed in our podcast.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
so from a diehard Manchester United fans point of view, what is your take on how to take this club forward?
Well, we have already discussed that. You already said that Ole is not a master tactician. Even he has himself admitted that he does not do the tactics of the team himself. It is his deputies that do that for him. And as you said, that he has also failed in man management this season. One more thing that he has done is that favoritism,
Correct.
playing McFred and Greenwood is a huge example of favoritism, and that I think
Can't be
has
tolerated.
yeah, that can't be tolerated in a club like Manchester United. I think what Ole is trying to run the club on is remnants from Sir Alex Ferguson's days.
Okay.
I mean, Ole was a very favored player under Sir Alex, and his deputies, Mike Phelan and then Michael Carrick, they were also. Carrick played under Sir Alex, and Mike Phelan was also there when Sir Alex was the coach. And we've seen Ollie speak so much about Sir Alex when he's giving pre-match or post-match interviews. I mean, he has spoken about the values instilled in the club by Sir Alex so many times. I've grown used to it. I mean, I almost expect that kind of thing coming from him in every interview, and that I think is, not helping the club at the moment, because we are in kind of a hangover of the values, the technicalities that Sir Alex used to. Sir Alex used to infuse in the dressing room or in the club. And personally, the way football has advanced since Sir Alex Ferguson retired, the technical aspects of the game, that doesn't work anymore, in my opinion. I might be wrong. I might be proved wrong at the end of the season if Ole stays and we do a good result. But at the moment, it's not working. So going forward, I don't care whoever is the manager, but there are a few things that we need to work on. First of all, the style of play.
Okay.
I seriously don't. I have been watching Manchester United play for a long time, more than 10 years, since Ronaldo was here in his first stint. And I have seen the club play under David Moyes. I have seen the club play under Louis van Gaal, under Mourinho. And Mourinho was, shit during his last few days, park the bus football and all that. David Moyes wasn't too much better either, but The last few, but this season's football that I'm seeing from this club, I'm just, what will I say? I'm surprised. I'm horrified that how can Manchester United play such horrible brand of football? There is just one thing that is going on at this club, and that is moments, individualism.
Correct.
Someone is going to throw a long ball from the defense, say Lindelof or Maguire, and Rashford is going to latch onto that, run behind the defense, and then score a goal just because he has pace. That is individualism. That is moments. Ronaldo,
Correct.
I mean, Ronaldo, he's a wonderful striker, but up till now, he has also been a part of the moments. Bruno, he has been a part of the moments in the goals that he scored till now. There is no concrete play build-up inside this in the gameplay of this team anymore. I don't see it. We have discussed the reasons of that before. Because of our midfield, we don't have a midfield that connects the defense with the offense. So the one thing that the club used to do well was those things such as the counter-attacks, the long balls, and those moments in the last season. But the weaknesses in these things were also exposed in the last season itself. We saw that these tactics, these kind of build-ups failed against teams which have a low defensive line, low blocking teams.
Okay.
Teams which leave space behind their defense for players to run into. We used to score a lot of goals against them.
Okay.
But low blocking teams, for example, Burnley. I remember one such match against Burnley from the last season. They were cancelling out each and every one of our long balls or through passes, whatever, because their defense was a low block one. So last season only, I thought that we need someone to break this. We need someone to break down low blocking teams. Breaking down defensive high lines is already our strength. This team has it in them. What it doesn't have is breaking down low blocking teams. And I thought that bringing in a good defensive midfielder or a central midfielder, using Van de Beek, using Sancho, would do that for him. Exactly. Because you have so many good finishers in the team. You have Rashford, you have Ronaldo, you have Cavani. You have good finishers in the team who will do the job in the final with the final shot of the attack. But you don't have players to supply them. You only have Bruno and Pogba at times, but Pogba is not playing, so I'm not including him. You only have Bruno. So that is one thing that the team has to work on. That the style of play is terrible. That has to be improved. Okay. It is just not like Manchester United the way I used to see it anymore. There is no build-up at all. Secondly, recruitments and sale of players. Manchester United need to sell players.
Okay.
I don't care what their contributions in the past are. They need to sell players. First of all, they need to get rid of Pogba. I just don't think he is a match for this club anymore. Second of all, there are a few defenders, for example, Phil Jones, who need to go, who have no role at the club at all. And recruitment's part, I think Jesse Lingard has to go.
Lingard, yeah, I was going to mention.
Yeah. And the recruitments, well, I would say that the last summer window was very good.
Yeah.
But that one defensive midfielder, proper defensive midfielder, needs to be brought in as soon as possible.
Then Fred can also be freed then.
Yeah, exactly. He can also be freed. I would rather keep McTominay than Fred, because Fred is not even good going forward. He's not good in the defensive line. He's not good in the offensive line. He misplaces passes, misplaces shots. So I would rather
ruins counter-attacks. I have seen clips where he is ruining the counter-attacks with the mispass.
Exactly. And so Fred can go, and we need to bring in a good defensive midfielder, and we need to employ Van de Beek beside that midfielder, so that just think Declan Rice and Van de Beek in our midfield.
Together
How
with
good would it be?
together with maybe
Together with
McTominay.
Bruno.
Okay, together
No,
with Bruno.
I'm just saying in a
Hmm.
4-2-3-1 formation.
Okay, four two
That
three one
two is
formation.
Van de Beek.
Hmm.
That two is Van de Beek and say Declan Rice.
Declan Rice,
Just
yeah.
think about that.
And
And
Bruno the
that's
head of the
just an
diamond.
example.
Yeah.
Bruno
Correct.
ahead of them.
Hmm.
That would be excellent in my opinion. So yeah, that is one more thing: recruitments and selling players, and then comes well youth development because I can name three players right now who are playing exceptionally well in our youth system,
Okay.
and they have just not had their chances in the senior team. First two, you know the names, Amad Diallo and Facundo Pellistri. And the third one is academy product, Hannibal Mabry.
Okay.
These three are really, I mean, Hannibal Mabry got the youth player of the season last season.
Okay.
So I mean, those who follow the club closely, we know that he is ready to come onto the senior team. But he's not being promoted at all. I mean, I thought Ollie was a good promoter of youth. He did such a good job with Greenwood up to last
Correct.
season.
Correct.
He brought Greenwood into the first team and did such a good job with him. Yes, one thing I would like to say that he has brought in Anthony Elanga and he plays him sometimes, and he's a promising striker, but he needs to do
Okay.
that more. Look
Okay.
at Liverpool. They used to employ their under 23s in the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, if you remember. Look at Liverpool. That is, I mean, I'm not saying that we employ under 23 team in that kind of a competition. No, not at all. But we need to give them chances.
Correct. Correct.
So
In the
that is what
Carabao
has been
Cup, in the
lacking.
Community Shield, in the FA Cup, in the Primary, there
Exactly.
are so many cup competitions, domestic cup
Exactly.
competitions. You can, like,
Exactly.
the senior players will also be exhausted after playing the Premier League
Yes,
and
exactly. I
Champions
remember
League.
particularly that Bruno was playing so many matches last season. I mean, he was willing to carry on himself as well, but he was just tiring off, you know. And I really think he could have been rested for one or two matches, and someone from the youth setup could have been given a chance. Of course, I am no one to you know stamp my statement because that is to be done by the coaching staff, but I really do feel that youth development has kind of taken a stop in our club because you look at Diallo. Diallo scored. I mean, even in the last youth match, I just read about it yesterday or day before that. Diallo scored and also assisted, if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
Pelistri has been loaned out. I don't know why he's been loaned out. He's such a promising young player from Uruguay.
He's loaned out
He,
because probably he's like, he also knows and the board also
yeah,
knows that he's
yeah,
not
yeah.
going to get chances in the senior team.
Look at Ahmad when he was playing for the senior team. I remember he played for the senior team in probably one match in the Europa League last season, and he scored.
Okay.
He started one match and he scored. I don't know what is wrong with this youth development thing or youth promotion thing. That is one thing that needs to be done right. I mean, at an SOS basis, because we have so many good players. Every club promotes their youth players. We are not doing that at all. We are either stalling their careers or we are regressing them. I'm clueless as to what is happening here.
Okay, now coming to our main event and our discussion of the day. Who can be the proper candidate to take this club forward? So the candidates as listed are Brendan Rodgers principally, Zidane, though I think he's waiting for the French national team's job, but yeah, still he's a candidate. Eric Ten Hag, Rangnick, and Mauricio Pochettino. So yeah, let's hear your thoughts.
Well, this is a tricky area of our discussion because uh, to appoint a manager, you first need a competent board.
Okay.
And our board is absolutely proving to be incompetent because, look at Chelsea, look at Abramovich, what they did with Lampard. Lampard, when he started to falter, they sacked him immediately.
Correct.
They just told him thank you so much, and they brought in Tuchel. Lampard did build a good team, brought in Mount and some other players.
Reece
Brought
James.
in Thiago Silva, Reece James, promoted the youth, and then the board sacked him. And look at what Tuchel is doing with that team at the moment. He's won the Champions League. He's on the race to win the Premier League at the moment. Look at what will I say? Look at the Tottenham board. They appointed a new manager at the start of the season, and they sacked him 3 months into the season because he was not getting the results. I don't know what is wrong with this board, but they're just not ready to sack Ole. Is it because he's a club legend? I think principally that is the first reason.
Okay.
Secondly, they are not ready with a replacement.
Yes, I think this is a more important reason. Yeah, right.
Because I haven't heard a single established report of the board speaking to any of the available managers.
Managers.
They've been linked with so many, but I haven't heard a single established source. If Ole stays until the end of this season, and I would really like to be proved wrong here, that we will finish probably outside top 4 without a trophy and with no Champions League football next season, if I'm not wrong, because this is just going to get worse.
I hope the board will not wait till that far. That is the
point. I do hope. Yeah. So talking about the replacements, well, Zidane.
Okay, Zidane.
I'm coming to Rodgers later on.
Okay.
Zidane. We have heard that some calls were made or so, but he responded with a no. And as much as I would have liked Zidane in Manchester United, I think that he won't come. He won't be coming here. As you said, he's waiting for the national team. So yeah, I don't think he's coming. I love Zidane as a manager. I mean, he's done wonders at Real Madrid. So why won't I love him? And he knows how to manage players like Ronaldo and Varane, and someone with his brains, he will know how to manage a team in a crisis situation like this.
Correct.
Even if he is not a master tactician, he will know how to manage the team. Right? He will know how to get the dressing room behind him. He will know how to take the points from the matches.
Correct.
So, as much as I would have liked him to come, he's probably not coming. And yeah, that brings me to Pochettino. Pochettino was approached by Manchester United at the start of the season, but that kind of wavered out, and now he's at PSG, and well, according to PSG fans, he's not doing that well there as well. But even then, I don't think he will accept the job at least until the end of the season. So we can rule him out as well.
Correct.
Now coming to two people who I think can be possible replacements, they are Ralf Rangnick and Erik ten Hag. Erik ten Hag is at present Ajax's manager.
Correct.
And well, we all know how much of an improvement Ajax has been in the last few years. You just look at their Champions League history for the last few years.
And that too with such a low budget. Basically, the points that you mentioned, that recruitment and sales, youth development, all those things would perfectly sit with Erik ten Hag.
Exactly. But I also think that Erik ten Hag, if he were to come to Manchester United, he would not come until the end of the season. And that is where Rangnick comes in.
Okay.
Rangnick is the technical director or sports director at RB Leipzig.
Okay.
And once again, we all know how good RB Leipzig has been in the last few years. Rangnick is a good tactician. He knows how to, take teams who are going through a bad patch into a good patch. he knows how to win matches, and if there's anyone who can match up to the trio of Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, and Thomas
So much
Tuchel
to
at the
say.
moment in the Premier League, I think it is Ralph Rangnick, and later
Okay.
on Ten Hag,
Okay.
because Rangnick has incredible control over the dressing room. He has incredible control over the players, and he is also a good tactician. So, but I would not prefer him as a long-term manager. If the club sack Ole, I would prefer Rangnick as a interim manager,
Okay.
and until the end of the season. After which they bring in Ten Hag or someone else and make Rangnick the sports director,
Okay.
something like that. I would prefer it that way.
Okay.
Now, coming to Rodgers,
Hmm.
because I mentioned him last because he's the man who has been the most heavily linked to this club.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
And even until 2 days ago, there were reports that Rodgers is not considering the job. But just yesterday, there were reports that Rodgers has been contacted with, and he said that he might take the job. And there are a few release clauses in his Leicester
Leicester.
contract that,
Hmm. Hmm.
sorry, that might be affordable for the board, and he might be brought in if Ole is sacked. I don't know how true these reports are, but you know, uh, I will give my honest opinion about Brendan Rodgers. Is he the man to go face to face, to fight face to face with the top three clubs of the Premier League right now in terms of Manchester City, Chelsea, and Liverpool, to go up against Pep, Klopp, and Tuchel? I don't think so. But
Okay.
is he the man to take Manchester United into a better position than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Definitely.
The
I
fourth
would
spot.
any day, exactly. I would any day take Rodgers instead of Solskjaer, any day. Because see, Ollie has, well, uh, he took the team up uh, from a bad patch.
Hmm.
The team began performing well under him. He actually healed a very toxic dressing room, which Mourinho left,
Correct.
and that has reaped its benefits. He's also brought in good players like Bruno and Varane and everyone. That I give it to Oli, but I sincerely don't think that he is the man to take us the step further that is required to win trophies or something like that. Because the closest we came to winning a trophy was last season's Europa
Europa
League
League.
final under Ole, and honestly, yes, we lost the match, but throughout the 120 minutes of the match, I wasn't convinced that we were going to score.
That
But
is true.
somehow we were not playing up to the mark. I was very anxious throughout the match that, and they were playing well. I mean, Villarreal were playing well in that match. I was very anxious that they were going to score. Somehow we kept them out, and then the way we lost was unfortunate, but that is not the manager's fault. But I was not convinced that we are going to outscore them and win the match. I was kind of hoping for some rash tackle here and there and a miracle or moments once again. So yeah, I don't think Ole is the man to win us trophies. He's a club legend, though no one is denying that. He will be loved whatever happens here. I mean, look, he's not only about the 103 minutes goal that won us the treble, but he has scored so many goals for us. He was such an impact player off the bench. So nothing is going to tarnish his legacy as a footballer. Uh, Even his coaching stint won't. So I don't understand why he isn't stepping down himself. I mean, those memes that come that I need this kind of confidence. Yeah, I need that kind of confidence from Ollie, because in every post-match interview, he is smiling and he is saying things like, I am close to what I want with this club, and I have no doubts about my future. Things like these. I mean, I appreciate that, but that is not being, reflected in the game we play.
Correct.
I mean, whatever he's saying, the situation at the club, it is bound to get to his head that he might be sacked any day. It is bound to. It is human. So that should make him even more determined to do something, save his job, win matches. Uh, if you say that the Tottenham win saved his job, it was only because Tottenham was even more shit. Because I have never seen, I don't follow Tottenham's matches. That was the only match of them I saw this season, and I have never seen them play this shit. Seriously, there was no going forward at all. They
Correct.
weren't going to score. Even if we didn't have a goalkeeper, they weren't going to score. They skied every shot here and there.
And what they did was they took Antonio Conte out of the market.
Exactly. So you can ask that who actually benefited from that loss. If it was OLE, or if it was Manchester United, or if it was Tottenham. Yeah. So OLE has to go. Without any kind of disrespect to him as a player, as a manager, as a man, he has to go. He just can't stay anymore. And Rodgers, any day over him. I have heard Manchester United fans whining over Rodgers because he was an ex-Liverpool manager. But I don't understand that at all. Because
when Jose Mourinho managed your club.
So. Exactly. When Jose Mourinho was a Chelsea manager.
Chelsea legend.
Then Chelsea legend, actually, yes. Then you look at what's his name, the Everton manager, Rafa Benitez. He managed Liverpool, and he's now literally managing their arch rivals.
Direct
Derby, and he's doing so well. He's doing so well. So yeah, look at Julian Nagelsmann. He was managing Leipzig last season. Now he's managing Bayern. What if he was a Liverpool manager? He's a good tactician. At least if not a master tactician, he's a good tactician. He brings in an attacking style of play. I love how Leicester play. Their style of play is excellent. Even if it is not effective in all matches. But that is because Leicester don't have that kind of a team, in my opinion, that can actually, that they don't have. They definitely have quality, but not the level of Manchester United. Look, Jamie Vardy versus Cristiano Ronaldo.
If I can include Vardy in the elite level, I can count more Tielemans and maybe Swan.
Tielemans, maybe Maddison, so and so. Schmeichel, but not all of them.
Correct.
Right? And overall, Leicester is the reason Leicester has been missing top four for the last 2 seasons is that they don't have a team that can hold on to that spot. Manchester United have a team that can hold on to at least the top 4, if not more. So if given that team, Rodgers would do very well. He almost won the league with Liverpool had it not been for Steven Gerrard's famous slip. But so he almost won the league with Liverpool. He can do good things with this team. He can bring a style of football that has been long forgotten at this club.
Correct.
He is excellent in recruitment. That I was saying. He look at what he's recruited in Leicester. He's recruited Tielemans, Ndidi, Soyuncu, then Patson Daka, Demarai Gray, impact players. Maddison, impact players. All of them impact players. Before Leicester, he was at Swansea and at I don't remember the other club he was in.
Okay.
Celtic.
Okay.
He did very well Celtic was already a Scottish League winner, so he won the league. Probably I don't remember, but he did well with those clubs as well. And he also promotes youth. He plays his young players in matches, even in Leicester, he plays his young players in the Europa League matches. Patson Daka has been scoring a lot for Leicester in the Europa League. Those are the exposures that our youngsters need to get. Because, well, otherwise, where will they? So Rodgers brings all these things onto the table: style of football, recruitment, youth players. You give him the Manchester United job, and I mean, Tielemans is leaving Leicester at the end of this season. If Rodgers get the Manchester United job, I really think he has a good chance of bringing in Tielemans into Manchester United, and we all know how good a defensive midfielder Tielemans is. I mean, this club is so unpredictable. I mean, look at the Atalanta games. First, especially the first game at home, the first half we were shit, and something just clicked in the second half. This is so unpredictable. This team is so unpredictable. This team can beat Southampton 9-0, and this team can lose to Crystal Palace. This team can lose to Sheffield United, who was the 20th place team last season, at home. This is how unpredictable this team is. So that needs to change. We need to find consistency. And, one more fact is that Pep Guardiola is leaving Manchester City at the end of this season, if I'm not wrong. And City have Brendan Rodgers as one of the potential replacements. Yes. That just shows you in the face how appreciated a manager he is in English football.
Correct.
A club like Manchester City, who has literally won 5 or 6 titles in the last 7 or 8 years, and has won so many other trophies, FA Cups and Carabao Cups. I mean, the Carabao Cup could have been just renamed Manchester City Cup. They have won it so many times.
Every year, back to back.
Almost every year. Yeah. I mean, it was a surprise that they were knocked out this
season, yes.
I literally joke with my friends that West Ham knocked out Manchester City from their own competition. So that kind of a club who has such a good team, a world-class team, a world-class management, who is looking to appoint Brendan Rodgers as a replacement for Pep Guardiola, I mean, they don't have any comparison at the moment, because Pep is just at a different level. Rodgers is good, but Pep is just something different. So when a club thinks like this, that they can appoint Rodgers in place of Pep, we have to say that Rodgers is good. It is only up to the board now that they have to do something. They have to sack the manager. If not now, I don't know when, but it has to happen sometime. And the longer they wait, the worse it gets. Because I was the one who told after the Tottenham match that this back three formation will fail in the next 2 matches, and it has failed. Atalanta scored 2 past us, even with 5 midfielders. 5 defenders. And City scored 2 past us, and we were mightily lucky not to have lost that match 6-0.
Because of De Gea.
Thank you to De Gea. Exactly. He made at least 4 world-class saves. One of them against his own player, Lindelof.
Okay. One he couldn't save against his own player, Bailly.
That is unfortunate, but he did save Lindelof's own goal. So, and Manchester United, there was a stat coming up after the derby that Manchester United had more shots on their own goal than the opponent's goal. How pathetic is that?
Yeah, it's really pathetic. So we do hope the board reacts as quickly as they can.
Exactly.
And frees Ole from his duty and appoints a worthy manager, be it Rodgers or someone else. So we do hope that Manchester United books an Ola to drive Ole out of Old Trafford with Ole not at the wheel. If you like this video, leave a like and comment, share and subscribe to our channel for more of this fun content. Till our next video, I am Hrit.
I am Shubhranil.
And we are signing off. Goodbye.
Bye.